Okay, let's begin. We mentioned last time that we're going to discuss more specifically the gates of the third Beis Hamikdash. So let's look again at all the gates the way they were in the second Beis Hamikdash. The Har HaBayis, the Temple Mount, had 5 gates. Presumably in the third Beis Hamikdash will be the same. There's no reason to think otherwise. The Har HaBayis will probably be in the third Beis Hamikdash also 5 gates. 2 gates on the south, and 2 Shari Chulda. The next biggest gate is the one on the east, which is the Shar Shushan, where there's the picture of Shushan Abira, the engraving of Shushan Abira. On the north side, there's the Shar Tedi. In the back is the Shar Kinoipais. Those are the 5 gates of Har HaBayis. Har HaBayis, as we mentioned in the past, is going to be in the third Beis Hamikdash a lot bigger than in the second, 6 times the size, and we'll probably have also these 5 gates in order to come in, if not more. The Azara itself, there's different opinions how many gates, and as we mentioned, the Rebbe says that it's not really, you can't really argue how many gates they were. The argument is how many gates are considered gates, which means there's a halacha of a gate, and then there's something which happens to be an opening. Some opinions are there 13 of them are considered gates, others are 7, others are 5. There's maybe an opinion also there's 8 gates. The general accepted version is the one the Rambam says is that there are 7 gates, meaning there's this gate going into the bottom courtyard, into the Ezras Nashim. This is not one of the gates of the Beis Hamikdash. This is what we call the shadow Ezras Nashim. The Ezras Nashim is not part of the Beis Hamikdash, as we explained. This is the gate leading into the Ezras Nashim. There's the 135 ames by 135 ames, which is Ezras Nashim. Then you go up the 15 steps, the round steps of Shar Niknar. That's the main gate leading in from the east is the Niknar gate. Then you have 3 gates on the north, on the south, and 3 gates on the north. Each one has its own special name. And that is the 7 gates that lead into the Azara of the Beis Hamikdash. So 6 out of those 7 are going directly from the north or the south into the Azara without having to go through the Ezras Nashim. One of them only is the gate that leads in from the Ezras Nashim from the east. So that's the 7 gates that we mentioned. As you see, there's 2 gates on the west, which according to some are called gates, according to others aren't. But this is the opinion that we count 13 gates. 4 over here, 4 over here, 3 over here, and 2 over here. Okay, so that is the second Beis Hamikdash. In the third Beis Hamikdash, as we've learned already, there is the outer Azara and the inner Azara. Let's look a little bit at the dimensions of the third Beis Hamikdash. The outer courtyard, from wall to wall on this side, from north to south is 312 ames. From wall to wall, east to west is 317 ames. Quite close. It's almost an exact square. But in fact, even more than that, the dimensions are very, very exact. And as we know, the third Beis Hamikdash is called the building, the structure of Hashem. Hashem is exact. The dimensions are exact, and therefore, this is the dimensions. Let's look at it from the inside. From wall to wall of the outer Azara to the inner Azara. So it's from here till here, 100 ames, till the outer wall. From the inner wall, means the inside of the wall itself is 6 ames. We're not counting the wall, but from the inside of the wall, the actual space of the inner Azara till here is also 100 ames. From here till the back of the Heichal is also 100 ames. So you have the 11 ames on the back behind the Kodesh HaKadoshim till the outer wall of the Azara. Then you have these 6 amas of this wall. That's how you get 317. The same thing is from north to south. These buildings, which we'll learn about Be'ezras Hashem tomorrow, are 100 amas long and 50 amas wide. How does that work? Because it reaches till the inside of this wall. The 100 amas here, we're not including the wall, so here you have 6 amas, which means that this building probably had to be a little bit under these porches. If these porches probably went out about 8 amas, so the building went a little under the porches, under these chambers. Over here, the rooms on the corners, here it's 40 amas. 40 amas on this side, 40 amas on this side. So you're leaving the entire area of 237 amas left, besides for those 40. On this side, it's 30. There's 30 over here. From north to south, it's 30. This room is 50. All along over here, this between chamber and chamber is 100 amas. Okay, it's a little more than 100 amas because there's a little bit of space over here, so it's a little more than 100 amas. This is 50 and 50. That's another 100. That's 200, and then we have left from here to here 106 on this side and 106 on this side. Okay, so now let's look at the gates themselves. 2 of the things that we mentioned already in the past is that there's 3 rooms on either side of the gates. The gates also have an entrance hall, each one of the gates. Another thing which is very important is that the gates are parallel to each other. That's one of the things that is called the beauty of the house, is that everything is exact. The eastern gate of the outer courtyard and the eastern gate of the inner courtyard, the halls that enter the gates, on the inner courtyard, they're on the outside of it. On the outer courtyard, they're on the inside, such that the halls are parallel to each other, on the east, on the north, and on the south. Leading up to the gates, on this side, on east side, you have 12, because this is going up the incline of the mountain. So on this side, there's 12 steps leading up. On this side, in the north and on the south, there's 7 steps. And all of the gates of the inner courtyard have 8 steps leading to it. So it's quite different. The only same steps in the courtyards is the 12 steps, which it doesn't actually say clearly in the pasuk, but that we're told by Rashi that it's the same 12 steps as it was leading to the Ezras Nashim in the second Beis Hamikdash. Over here, there are 7 steps. Over here, Shar Nikner would have been 15 steps. We don't have anything like that, but rather 8 steps on all 3 sides. Over here, it's the same 12 steps leading up to the Ulam. Let's take a look at the rooms and at the courtyards, at the halls, and try and understand them a bit. Let's first look at a picture, the way it's usually made in the models of the Beis Hamikdash. This is the eastern gate, the Shar HaIsain it's called. Shar HaIsain means the gate that most people come through, or perhaps the gate which is the same side as the sun. See, notice the chambers over here on the second floor. 5 on this side, 5 on this side. What we can see is 5 here, 5 here. The chambers go between the rooms in the corners and the gates. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. 30 chambers altogether. Here we're talking 3 chambers on this side, 3 chambers on this side. In between here is the 12 steps. The gate itself is 50 amas high, 10 amas wide. Now, most of the pictures are making a low chamber. The reason they make it is because a ta usually means a low chamber, and they're putting 3 chambers over here. But the question is, what is the point of these chambers? Also, the Navi measures from here to here, and he calls it the width of the gate. Every time the Navi talks about the gate, he says the gate is 50 amas high, 25 amas wide. Now, the actual gate is 10 amas wide. The 25 amas are from the end of this dome to the end of this dome. What's the point of this 25 amas? Let's measure, but we'll get a little bit of a better measuring. If we'll look at it, let's look over here. Here you have the steps, the 12 steps, actually not 12 steps, because if you can see, this is on the northern side, so it's 8 steps going up in this gate. In between the steps and the actual rooms, there is 2.5 amas on either side. The steps are 10 amas wide. They lead up to the gate. So remember, the gate is 6 amas, the actual thickness of the gate, because that's the thickness of the wall. So when you walk into the gate, you have 6 amas. You have your 2.5 amas on either side. Here there starts the rooms. The rooms, the walls of the rooms are 5 amas thick. The interior of the room is 6 amas thick. So if I measured from here to here, I have 3 6 amas. That's 18. And then I have 4 5 amas. So that's 20. So that's 38, the entire length of this. 38 is just a small part next to the actual gate itself. So I have 38 here, 38 here from the edge. So we're not counting the wall, because if it's a circular roof, it's a dome on top of it. So we're talking from the edge, from the wall until the wall, there's 25 amas. Now perhaps, and this is a perhaps, we'll find out when we get there, if we made these rooms higher, 50 amas higher, almost 50 amas high, and then there's an arch leading from one room to the other, then the height, the width of the gate would be this actual arch, which would be 25 amas. This is 11 amas, because the thickness of the wall is 5, and here there's another 6. There's no back wall. The back wall is this 6 amma wall. When you walk into the gate, you're first walking through these 11 amas of these 2 rooms. Then you're walking through the actual gate, which is 6 amas. And then you have a hallway. Let's see if we have a better picture from the inside of the hallway. Here you have a hallway which protrudes 8 amas, and then an oval-shaped stone pillar, which is like a doorpost of the hallway, which is 50 amas high, the pillar, a crown which is 10 amas high, or perhaps the pillar is a bit higher in the crown, but altogether till the top of the crown is 60 amas, 10 amas higher than the actual gate. The crown is a golden crown, which is shaped like the leaves of a palm tree, the branches of a palm tree. So that's on top on either side. Here is our rooms, our chambers on either side. So this is a hallway. So really, when you're walking through the gate, from when you start going up these steps, you're actually walking through 27 amas, walking into a gate. It's something which you didn't have in the second Beis HaMikdash. You had just gates which were 10 amas wide, 20 amas high. It was the thickness of the wall, which was 6 amas. That was it. And perhaps even the walls of the Azara were less. Here you're talking about going through your gate. You have 27 amas from when you go up the stairs, from when you start going up the stairs until you come out into the actual Azara. This is something which shows on a more settled place, just like the Heichal of the Beis HaMikdash had an ulam, had a hallway of 11 amas to get in there. Because when something is established, you don't just go in. Here also, every single one of the 6 gates has the same thing. Now, if we will start thinking a little bit further, which again, we don't know, we can only imagine. But if we think a little further, we talk about these chambers over here on top. How does one get up to these chambers? They're 50 amas high, the floor of it. Where are their steps? Are there going to be these large steps over there in the Heichal, in the Azara? And perhaps based on the general idea of what a ta means, the word ta is explained in the commentaries as asa. It's a room which takes you there. It's also from the word tiso, to turn around, meaning sort of a side entrance or a alternative entrance. If these time are also alternative entrances, because the pasuk also describes that besides for windows that are on the outside of the time over here. There's also windows in the time leading to the inside of the Azara. If you go in over here into these rooms, or according to the Rambam, it's more of a, not really rooms, but just a hollow in the chamber of the hall. These rooms are connected to the gate. In which way? They're alternative entrances. If you go in over here, and the walls, as we remember, are always hollow, especially according to the Rambam, the 3 time, this may be one, the wall would be another, there'd be another inside here. The walls are hollow. If there's elevators in the walls, which take you up, they can take you up the first step. You're coming in with korbanos. You don't want to climb the stairs with the animals. In the second Beis HaMikdash, you didn't have much of a choice. Over here, you have an elevator, which would take you inside the wall. First, to the first floor, which over here, the outside of these rooms ends right over here, right at the end of the hallway. If you came out, you can go straight into the hallway from the outside of the room. You would be able to have a door into the hallway. You can come in through the hallway like everyone else does. And then you have a second floor, which is up to this floor. And these chambers, one of the things that they would enable you to do is to gaze at the crowns. If you remember in the Ulam, we learned that the Kohanim would climb up chains in order to gaze at the crowns. It would inspire them. These crowns are here on top. They're 60 amas high. Who sees them? But perhaps in these chambers, besides for whatever else the chambers are for, which we'll find out, but these chambers are also places where you can gaze at these beautiful crowns. You'd have the elevator that takes you up. So this is the concept of the rooms. Each one of the 6 gates of the third Beis HaMikdash will have these rooms. The inner Azara, you're taking korbanos in. Over there, there's no chambers inside, but there are hallways in the thickness of the wall. There's empty, there's cavities which are like hallways open up there where you would check the korbanos, etc. These stairs or elevators would lead you to these hallways as well. And this also fits with the general idea that the Rebbe explains with regards to the Beis HaMikdash. The first Beis HaMikdash corresponds to Zahav. Zahav is gold. Zahav is also the acronym of the word Zeh HaNoisin Bari. When a person who gives is healthy. The first Beis HaMikdash was from above. The Jewish people were then on the level of tzaddikim. They were healthy. The second Beis HaMikdash corresponds to Kesef, silver. Kesef is the acronym of Kisheroya Sakanas Pachad, when a person sees a danger of fear, which that is someone who has fears, someone who only gives when he's scared, that's a Bal Tshuva. Someone who comes, he isn't in the highest place, but he pushes himself to get to the highest place. The third Galus is Nechaishes. Nechaishes is copper. That's the acronym of Nechsinas Chayla Shamar Tznu, a sick person who says give. That's Galus. That's our time that we're in now. That's what leads to the third Beis HaMikdash. But in the third Beis HaMikdash, there'll be something amazing that wasn't really in the first or the second, although we do find that Shlomo HaMelech, when he built the first Beis HaMikdash, he prepared 24,000 kikar of iron. What is the purpose of iron? There was no iron that we find anywhere in the third Beis HaMikdash. Perhaps some of the vessels were iron, but he didn't need such a huge amount for that. There was in the second Beis HaMikdash, and we don't know if they had that in the first, there were iron spikes on the roof of the Heichal. What was the need of that iron? So the Rebbe explains that iron was actually for the third Beis HaMikdash, because in the third Beis HaMikdash, iron is barzel. Barzel shows on Klippa. We read in the Parsha of yesterday, Hine Arsoi Eres Barzel, regarding Oig Melech HaBashan, his bed was an iron bed. Oig Melech HaBashan, the Klippa, the receptacle of Klippa, of the opposite of holiness, of negative forces, is iron. In the third Beis HaMikdash, will elevate everything, will elevate even the most negative forces, and certainly all the forces of the physical world, which are not necessarily negative, but even if they can be used for negative, such as technology, all of that will be elevated, because the point of the third Beis Hamikdash is to elevate the entire world. So as such, that will be the point where we're elevating everything, and that is the ultimate of the third Beis Hamikdash. We'll find out exactly what and how it will be, including the Wi-Fi code, Be'ezras Hashem, very soon today, when we see the third Beis Hamikdash in actuality.